The Kassam Brigades fired rockets at the Israeli cities of Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. As sirens sounded in Tel Aviv, Israeli Prime Minister Binyamin Netanyahu and U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken interrupted their meeting and waited in the shelter. Following the attack, the Israeli army targeted the area around the Rafah border crossing of the blockaded Gaza Strip to Egypt. Palestinian sources and eyewitnesses said that the Israeli army hit the perimeter of Rafah. Trucks carrying fuel and other supplies waiting at the Rafah border crossing to supply Gaza left the area. According to the news shared by Israel-based Channel 12 television on the X social media platform, Tel Aviv sent a message to Egypt: "If you supply Gaza, we will shoot the trucks." This statement caused a crisis in relations between Egypt and Israel. The Egypt-based Cairo Al Akhbariyya television channel published footage of the moment Israel bombed the Rafah border gate. While smoke rose from the region after the bombing, the images also showed the moments of fear experienced by dozens of Palestinians waiting to enter Egypt through the Rafah border gate. On October 10, Israel shelled the area around the Rafah border gate, the only gate of the Gaza Strip to Egypt, where it cut off electricity and water services by ordering a full blockade. Egyptian officials at the Rafah border gate warned of the possibility of an Israeli attack and asked Palestinian personnel to evacuate the border gate. It was reported that at least 3,478 people have been killed and more than 12,000 wounded in Israel's attacks on the Gaza Strip since October 7. In the statement made by the Ministry of Health in Gaza, the information reaching the hospitals as a result of Israel's attacks on the Gaza Strip was included. In the statement, it was stated that the number of people who died in Gaza in the Israeli attacks increased to 3,478, and the number of wounded exceeded 12,000. In the statement, it was stated that Israeli forces killed 62 Palestinians in the occupied West Bank during this period, and the number of injured in the West Bank was 1,300. U.S. President Joe Biden said Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi agreed to open the Rafah border crossing for about 20 trucks carrying humanitarian aid to reach Gaza. In a telephone conversation with Sisi, Biden stated that Sisi initially agreed to open the border for about 20 trucks to go to Gaza. Biden stated that if Hamas seizes humanitarian aid, it will end. White House officials also noted that humanitarian aid will begin to leave tomorrow at the earliest. According to the written statement made by the White House, Biden and Sisi discussed the issue of cooperation in the delivery of humanitarian aid to Gaza in a phone call. The two leaders agreed to encourage an urgent and strong response to the United Nations humanitarian appeal. Biden and Sisi reaffirmed their commitment to the strategic partnership between the United States and Egypt, agreeing on the need for lasting peace in the region to maintain stability in the Middle East and prevent the escalation of conflicts. Israel announced that it would allow Egypt to deliver limited humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said in a statement that the decision was approved in line with a request from U.S. President Joe Biden during his visit. The statement said that the delivery of food, water, and medicine will not be blocked as long as it does not reach Hamas. The statement did not mention the desperately needed fuel. It was not clear when the aid would begin to arrive. Israel, which controls most crossings into Gaza, says it will not authorize shipments from its territory. The increasing tension over the Hamas-Israel war is also causing tension in European countries. Following the killing of a teacher in France, 6 airports were evacuated today due to threats of attack. According to the French news agency AFP, citing police sources, threatening messages were sent to the airports via email. French police evacuated Lille, Lyon, Nantes, Nice, Toulouse, and Beauvais airports and started to search them. The police source noted that the work will continue until the suspicion is eliminated. In Berlin, Germany, it was announced that a synagogue was targeting Molotov cocktails. The German police said the synagogue was not damaged in the attack. French Ligue 1 team Nice sacked Algerian footballer Youssef Attal, who made social media posts in support of Palestine. After the start of the Hamas-Israel war, the Algerian footballer shared a video in which a Palestinian preacher prayed for God to give a black day to the Jews. Atal deleted the post and apologized after the video caused a backlash. However, the prosecutor's office immediately launched an investigation against the footballer, while the Nice club announced that Atal was out of the squad, taking into account the nature and seriousness of the publication. The Israeli army claimed that the hospital attack in Gaza, which killed more than 500 people, was caused by a failed rocket launch attempt by Islamic Jihad. Army spokesman Daniel Hagari said on Wednesday that there were no attacks targeting the hospital from land, sea, or air. The evidence we have shared with all of you confirms that the explosion at the hospital in Gaza was caused by a failed launch of an Islamic Jihad rocket, he told a press conference, blaming Islamic Jihad for the attack. This professional analysis is based on intelligence, operational systems, and aerial imagery, all of which are cross-referenced, Hagari defended his evidence. Russia has demanded that Israel provide evidence of its involvement in the attack on a hospital in the Gaza Strip that killed at least 500 people. At least 500 people were killed in last night's explosion at the Al-Ali Baptist Hospital in Gaza City. Hamas said the hospital had been targeted by Israel, while Tel Aviv denied the accusations, saying the explosion was caused by militant rockets. The Russian Foreign Ministry said that the attack on the hospital in Gaza, which killed hundreds of Palestinians, was a shocking crime and that Israel should provide satellite images to prove that it was not involved in the attack. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova told Radio Sputnik that the attack was a shocking crime against humanity. According to reports, Israeli airplanes attacked various locations in the Gaza Strip as well as a school that belonged to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees, UNRWA, where individuals who had fled their houses had taken sanctuary. According to the official Palestinian news agency Rafah, an Israeli airstrike reportedly struck one of the UNRWA classrooms in the Khan Yunis refugee camp in the southern part of Gaza. In the attack on the UNRWA school, which was serving as a shelter for individuals who were forced to flee their homes, there were both fatalities and injuries. In addition, Israeli airplanes bombed a house in the vicinity of the Ahmed Abdulaziz School in the Pool area of Khan Yunis. This house served as a shelter for people who had to flee their homes. It was reported that the airstrikes resulted in both fatalities and injuries to civilians in the area. The spokesperson for the Ministry of Health in Gaza, Ashraf Qudra, stated in a post on the ministry's official Facebook page that Israeli airstrikes on the Khan Yunis and Rafah sectors close to the Egyptian border resulted in casualties, the majority of which were females and children. Qudra noted that the majority of the victims were females and children. Qudra did not disclose any information regarding casualties or injuries to those who were present. Egyptian footballer Mohamed Salah, who currently plays for Liverpool, has demanded a halt to what he referred to as massacres in Gaza and stated that immediate humanitarian relief should be supplied to the beleaguered Palestinian enclave. According to Israeli media, Jamila al-Shanti, a prominent member of Hamas political bureau, was one of those who lost their lives during the Israeli offensive in Gaza. According to the reports, it was made clear that it was unclear whether or not the incident involved an assassination. Israel or Hamas have not yet released a formal statement.